My name is Woody Landeros.
And I'm Joseph Landeros.
You're listening to the Landeros Brothers, where we talk about...
Communication through art.
I like how it sounds all structured.
Yeah. Let's roll to the
Well,
intro.
you're supposed to say, just roll the intro.
All right.
Okay, let's do it. Today's topic is, it's a Rothko. So I've been going around and just saying that to really, really plain pieces of art, because that's really where Rothko ended his career out with. Over 20 years of creating just pure abstract expressionist pieces. I mean, I think it was 21 or 22 years of just doing that. And he was on a roll. And if you guys don't know who Rothko is, his name is Mark Rothko. He's a painter, an American painter, and he's actually a Russian Jewish descent.
From the descent.
Russian Jewish descent?
I'm sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. I was reading about him, and he actually, I have much respect for him. It's crazy how his whole journey began with him actually coming into the U.S. and changing his name, coming first from being, I believe it was, Marcus Rothkowitz.
It's a very big name.
Yeah, and he actually had to change it in order for it to not sound as Jew or become identifiable.
Yeah, we were just talking about that this morning about
Jewish.
Another, what does he do? We're not going to say his name, but he makes jackets, right? Like fine leather goods.
Uh-huh.
So, we just see him as, 3 different names.
Yeah.
And then, he's not really telling us his real name. It's
different
pretty hidden. I'm sure if you're listening to this, you know who you are. But it is important to have that right name in order for it to click on people.
Yeah, definitely. So what do you think about the meaning of these blobs or whatever people want to call them? There could be positive reviews and there are many negative reviews, but I kind of want to know what your take is on it.
Well,
what your take on it is. Yeah.
I think I have 2 sides right now for a couple different things. But before anything, just kind of name some of the, he has a lot of paintings where they're just blank canvases, or it's a big red block and then a maroon block or black and blue, whatever, all these different things. And a lot of his paintings are just called untitled because he never really titled them. They just showed up. And then, so it just says untitled, and then it has on the side blue and red. Entitled, yellow, orange, and and then he's also had black on maroon, orange and yellow, number 61. There's not much attention to detail when it comes down to making these names. Right. And I think if he was listening to this, he'd probably be pissed off at us, to be honest with you, because he doesn't that sort of. What was he saying? He enjoyed art when there was less critics and less show, and all these when it was more of a personable thing.
Yeah.
When you can just be in your own place and not think, is this painting going to make money or what are they going to say about it?
Right.
It was more for yourself.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know. I mean, everybody loves money, right? But I think it's really interesting to think about that time, because whenever I look at my films, sometimes I think I want to make money on this, but at the same time, it should do something more than money. It should be more about fulfillment and being able to create something that you really enjoy. So just by looking at some of these Rothko pieces, makes me want to do a wide Wes Anderson feeling,
right,
and just record 30 full minutes of my day.
Yeah.
But me staying within the frame.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I almost
no
feel...
music, no anything, just sitting there, because that's saying it's a Rothko. It is a Rothko, that.
Yeah.
Sort of feeling that might piss someone off, but art is something that provokes feeling and emotion, you know. So,
and that's the feeling that they're going to be.
I'm not even sure what the question was, by the way. I kind of went off, but you said how I feel about it, right?
Feel about it.
Yeah, I approve. depending on my emotion of the day, because sometimes I do really admire detail, and I do really admire not even thought, because I'm sure it took a lot of thought into every single one of these pieces. But I do like complexity. But then there is a world that I live in where it's nothing but simplicity and nothing but air, nothing but, you know, like I love music that has lots of detail, and then I also love music that literally is just like air and then a little whistle like at like 3 minutes, and then after like 7 minutes something like a little tingle goes off or something.
Yeah, or even repetition.
Yeah.
You know, some of your music is has like a consistent loop, but it's something about it that just grows on you.
Yeah.
And really becomes its like entity as it continues on. And I think that's pretty relatable to what he did, because someone could say, hey, he's doing the same style, same type of piece over and over and over again, but it's within that like persistence that he's built up his character, and I would assume like built up the messages within those pieces.
What it is it really does what it was made to do, make you feel a certain emotion.
Right.
Like the piece that he brought into what was it? He made a piece for like a corporate, like a place where there was a lot of money. I think it was a hotel or something.
Yeah.
And he put like dark maroon pieces.
I think it was like a business hall or something.
Yeah. And he put really, really dark pieces so that he can make everyone in there feel really enclosed and trapped in, you know, into their money and into like, so it was not necessarily about seeing like a scene inside of the painting. It was more so when you're digesting his paintings, you are the scene.
Right. Yeah. I think that's interesting that you're speaking about that, because as we also seen coming from a video that we were watching beforehand, I've seen it a few times, but he was speaking about, or the narrator was speaking on how he's actually really controlled all of his pieces in which, or as in reference to how he's presented them. So say he needs them in a certain room by themselves, or he needs them certain lighting, and I think that type of respect for one's work is something that could be admirable in all aspects.
And he also doesn't show it with other art pieces,
Yeah.
because then you have mixed emotions.
Right. But I think people are going to have mixed emotions no matter what.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say...
Or being distracted.
Yeah.
It forces you. I can see that. It's like seeing a video and then seeing a pop-up ad. You're not really, you know, and then you also have like your homework being on the side and this and that.
Yeah.
Or if you're painting and watching somebody else do something, you're not really like in it. And that's really like what phones and technology really have, you know, pulled us away from, and not really letting us digest the art in its full. I think even, I don't know, can you see, okay, I got something. Can you see the Grand Canyon and the Eiffel Tower at the same time and enjoy both in its fullest?
Mm-hmm. It was just start becoming something a little more like
you're getting two scenes.
For no
you
reason.
need to be really, really in one scene in order to enjoy it. I mean, that'd be really cool, but now that I think about it. But you would be distracted in some way.
Yeah. One thing that was interesting that I read about the way that he actually created his paintings was how he used ultraviolet analysis, and over time by using these analysis forms, people have been able to find egg, glue, formaldehyde, and acrylic resins mixed into his pigments. So what we see on pictures, and this is actually coming from an article from, I can't find the source at the moment, but
that's all right.
I think it's interesting how like pictures altogether can say a lot, but when it comes down to seeing it in person and actually experiencing that, I think at the same time pictures can also be something very limiting.
Yeah,
because it kind of gives you the first impression without you actually being able to be there with your shoes looking at a true Rothko.
Okay, guys. So Joseph, yesterday he sent me a photo of a painting that he did, and I wanted to say it's a Rothko, but I got to say there was a little bit more detail than like a Rothko, but it was still in that same abstract expressionist sort of realm.
That's crazy. You say like there's more detail.
It really is. I mean, if you see the photo, it has a lot going on in there. But if you like, I don't know, when you see all like the Rothko paintings and then you see yours on the side, you feel like there's a lot going on here. I'm putting stories. I said I saw two little birds. I said, are these streets? Is this a person or a face? Do I switch it this way? Do I switch it that way? I think Rothko does something really interesting where you don't say, is that like a tree bush? Is that a building? You kind of just feel. Right. Like whatever you're feeling in that moment.
Yeah.
Or you throw it out, which is also another feeling. Mm-hmm. Like I think the first time you showed me a Rothko, I like rejected it mentally. Like I was like, the hell is this?
It's interesting.
I'm spending all my time on this, and this guy has a square. I got a little frustrated.
I feel like, but that's just the
but
emotion.
That's what the painting really was supposed to do.
It's interesting, like how we value art and what type of variables need to be put at place for us to justify, say, spending this price on some shoes or some pants. It's just this overall process within just our psychology altogether. But someone actually just recently paid $86.9 million for one of his pieces titled Orange, Red, and Yellow. And I think that can tell you just right off the bat that someone out there really likes it. Personally, I don't really see myself being able to spend those type of quantities, but I might contradict myself in the future, so this is perfect to have on a podcast. But what do you value? Like, what would you pay $86.9 million for?
To be honest with you, for myself, not a Rothko, not anyone else's painting, I would probably buy a crap ton of camera gear, make my own art piece.
I thought you were gonna say buy a building and
see, like,
paint it.
One thing that'd be pretty. I would probably just buy real estate. But one thing I realized really quickly, being in clothing sales, going into downtown Riverside, trying to sell my clothing, trying to sell my art, trying to be a businessman in this little art world, this little art little community that was going on. I realized that artists are very selfish, and I realized that they claim to be very supportive, but we can only do so much because we're also broke. Yeah. So you have to be a little bit selfish,
competitive.
Yeah, and competitive, and also like we're critics to like other people, and we want to say like ours is a little bit better. So what I realized is I put out all my artwork. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was like top 5 competing.
Yeah.
I felt really good about it, but I realized that everybody else was just walking around analyzing. The next week, people's art was starting to look a little bit like mine, and then analyzing. 6 months go by. There was like 2 other artists that started painting like me, and like another artist that I was going down there with. And then, but I realized I didn't make any money, and I was making a lot of products and a lot of different great things, and also even like deals, like buy one get like 6 off, like
right.
6 for free or whatever. Get like a handful of stickers. All these different deals that I was trying to sell to artists, but really they were just analyzing and walking around. Notes. I went to the same art walk like maybe a few months back. I saw the same people doing the same things, achieving the same everything. Everything's the same. Like there was nothing different. One of my friends had a kid. That was different. Like another girl made like a new shirt. Cool. Mm-hmm. But no one's getting like rich off of that, because other artists are just analyzing, and they're just talking about it, and let's have a drink, but like in order to get that $80 million, you really need to know businessmen, and you need to know people that value like if you could achieve that emotion in like an artist that is like broke as hell, then you're just gonna get like some comments. Yeah. But if you can achieve that emotion to somebody that's like filthy rich, then you're gonna get somebody wanting that emotion every single day when they walk into their house. That maybe they might feel lonely like Rothko or depressed or whatever it is, and they want to feel a certain emotion when they go into their rooms, and then it can go deeper into a more psychological matter where they're gonna buy it more for their emotional state as
Yeah.
opposed to the art appreciation. But what would I spend for $80 million? I'll buy myself an Ari and a red camera and a bunch of different lenses, and I would probably shoot. Even for $100,000, I can get a shit ton of artists to go analyze one of his paintings and repaint the same goddamn thing, and I'll hang up a fake Rothko. I don't care. I'll say it. I'm a man that likes bootleg movies. I'm a man that likes. I don't care.
Living
Like,
on a budget.
you know what? These soundboards right here, they were taken from the Mission Grove theaters. Like, these desks, I got them as gifts from, great play. Like, just, I don't care. I'm not gonna pay that much, and it's not even going to him.
Yeah.
Maybe if he was alive and he was,
It's probably
you
going
know,
to. It's probably channeling down, and like his kids
his
probably
kids, though,
have
but,
something.
like,
Subjective.
yeah,
Yeah.
like even if you buy Michael Jackson tickets, it's not going to Michael Jackson. It's going to his family that's still
Yeah.
making T-shirts.
Right.
So
It's how you look at it. I think it's
I don't
cool that
know.
you're talking about sort of the status, or not the status, but like the ongoing cycle of the art shows.
yeah,
And
I just want to
the
be
art-
real
the art scene.
because a lot of people will even say like, oh yeah, there's great opportunities here, and try to sell you on staying there for like, shoot, I was there for over a year.
Yeah.
I think I made like $50.
Nobody buys anything.
Just go recycle cans, man.
I think, and it's the simplest things that people buy.
Yeah.
But I respect the people who have their own offices and their own space up there on the side building. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, downtown Riverside.
Yeah,
Studios.
I
like,
respect
that's really cool.
it, but for my own, like I want money.
Yeah.
I want fulfillment. I'm very selfish.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say it out loud over and over again. It's something that I've accepted. Very selfish. I want my art to please me first.
Mm-hmm.
I want my money to please me first, and I want it because, or else I'm not going to be able to enjoy it, and I'm not going to live in happiness. Like, I don't know. I think I've been in a place where I've made art just to, like, make someone else happy, and I think I've also been in a business where I've done business only to make someone else happy.
Yeah.
And it's not a good place.
Speaking on this, not these horrible places, just to think about how Mr. Rothko actually passed away, which was from, he happened to have depression, or he was within depression, and he actually committed suicide by taking a combination of barbiturates and had a major cut to an artery in his right arm with a razor blade.
Jeez, at 66 years old.
Now, this being in 1970, the status of the time of art and everything with, the bright colors and just the overall meaning of it all, I think that being with all that noise and everything and people are critiquing your work on the everyday basis and you getting so much flack off of what you love, but most likely seeing big numbers, like seeing something being profitable, but perhaps something not being as fulfilling, I could see myself falling into paranoia, looking into just a box or a square of red, like really deep hues that emit emotion, but in all, it is just the embodiment of his depression.
Yeah, and
It's
going
like that's
back
the
to, I think-
symbol of his pain.
yeah. This took a little bit of a left turn in the beginning because it went closer to like money, and I feel like really passionate about talking about the downtown Riverside, the downtown Chino, whatever, all these like places that I used to be in because I wasn't really fulfilled. And it is he does really talk about how now we create to please, or we create to sell, or we create to do it for someone else, and that's really like what I'm trying to relate it to. And talking about the emotional side of it, going back to our first podcast, I think it was our first podcast. It was about art therapy, or our second one. I talked to an art therapist for about an hour. I was doing an interview for a film project, and she said that art therapy can really help someone if it's by a trained art therapist. Now, sometimes artists can do their own forms of art therapy, but it could even be harmful. to themselves.
Yeah.
If they treat art as their own therapy.
Right.
It's like prescribing the wrong drug.
Huh. Interesting.
Which is super interesting because she looked at some of like, well, I was talking to her about some of the art pieces or some of the things that I've done.
Yeah.
And she said, "Have you ever had an art therapist look at your work?" And I just kind of stopped. Like, I can see how art can really bring you up or down.
Yeah.
Especially if you're isolating yourself in a studio and creating for hours and hours and treating it like a job where it's a very personal or isolated experience.
Yeah.
It's really like a recipe for
Disaster.
insanity
Yeah.
if you don't understand yourself.
Yeah, like
And it was that time where it was probably, about the bright lights, and even if the lights go in your face, you just keep on walking forward.
yeah. Well, I think the evolution of Hollywood and the evolution of consumer culture. No, I'm joking.
Consumer culture.
The evolution,
Bringing it back.
The evolution of glamour here in the U.S. has kind of given birth to these individuals who fall under the trap of gold kills. I don't know. You want to explain that sort of philosophy, or not philosophy? Just the definition of gold kills to the people.
Yeah, gold kills. Just kind of to end it out or wrap it up. Gold kills was created back in 2011, and it was all about, so gold equals money, power, fame, or something of value. So if you guys can't think of someone that's high in power right now, that's destroying some things, gold, that character, kills what's going on now. Also with Marilyn Monroe having all the fame, kills.
Spirit. Yeah.
Having all, money.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it could really destroy the person inside of you if you don't really understand that gold does kill.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it means.
Well, I think we should conclude this episode.
Yep.
And stay tuned for next week's episode. We are trying to be as consistent as possible. Or we are going
Every
to be
Monday.
Every Monday.
It's a Rothko.
Back-to-back topics.
Please, if you're listening, if you got this far, like, okay, let's just, if you really got this far.
All right, Mom.
Send us an email right now of a topic. Even if it's your art. We'll digest, we'll look through your art and we'll talk about it. We'll see where it stands.
Give us a chance.
You know what I mean? Give us a chance, man. Just talk to us. Okay, well, that's pretty much it. I'm going to end it out on that. Thank you so much, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, pues, bye.